Hey guys, Philip here. Here's Skibby 279, but it's fan made from Monster Top. It's not from the Fook Boom. Let's go. This is the same movie from the Fook Boom that we couldn't see. Okay, we're going surrounded. Let's go. Let's go to camera. So different this time. Oh yeah, that was funny. Scientist. Come on, just beat up the scientist. He's a decoy, right? It's a decoy. G-Man!
Hello, friend. What makes you think we are friends? Let me show you what happened to your brother after you left.
Oh,
The
Juggernaut.
area was compromised. He is now captured in our base.
Session 25.
We found Tyson Calmer. He was
Call him
weak.
Commander instead.
You heard that I'm here, so you came to fight me.
And here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Why?
What kind of units are you? For the Astros? You are a wasted slip.
Are you kidding me? No. Let's go. Oh. Defeated the POV. Tiny Caveman infected. Yes, go. Oh, this is the Speakerman base. Speaker. That's actually Speakerman base. I've never seen this kind of base before. There's some new speakers. No. No! No! This is about to get worse! Guys, Titan. You thinking if the Titan gets infected? Hope I see you soon. But there's more return of Titan Cameraman. Let's watch that too.
Time marches on, and we last saw Titan's cameraman only in episode 74, or 11 months ago, real time. The strangest and most frightening thing is we still know nothing about him except that he somehow magically disappeared along with the Astro Toilet Squad that was chasing him. But I've gathered all the available information for you, and based on logic, suggested several possible storylines related to Cameraman Titan, which I'll talk about a little later. It's also worth remembering one moment from the 25th season. There, we were shown agents from different countries, each of whom was the embodiment of their own national culture. This is important because Titans from these countries will definitely appear in upcoming episodes, and I'll explain why and how. But before I start this video, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. Well, here we go. I'm going to talk about possible plot twists involving the Titan cameraman in ascending order, starting from the most unlikely theories in my opinion, to the most plausible. And let's start with the first, least convincing one. After the full 77th episode aired, we were clearly shown the Duchess in the Titan suit. At this point, many people had a theory that Titan's cameraman was supposedly killed and his body was used to create a costume for the Astro Duchess. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a completely unfounded theory. First, if we look closely at the body parts of the costume, we see no resemblance to the body of Titan's cameraman. Secondly, Dafuk Boom never once even hinted at his death in his episodes. If he really wanted to hint at the death of Titan's cameraman, he would have done it much sooner instead of dragging it out for almost a year. And third, the Astro toilets are a high-tech race. For them to create such a suit from scratch would not be difficult and would not require special resources. Therefore, the version about the death of Titan's cameraman looks extremely doubtful and implausible. The second theory is that the same Astro toilet squad that pursued the Titan's cameraman decided to betray their allies. According to this theory, the squad supposedly went into hiding on purpose to try to rebuild and subdue Titan with their own forces. At first glance, it sounds logical. The squad could have realized that the Alliance would not give up trying to find the Titan's cameraman, even though the situation was dire. So they may have decided to take cover and capture him on the spot to gain an advantage or even power. But this theory has a huge weakness. Why would a unit that likely doesn't have many fighters betray their race that they've been fighting for, possibly for more than a century? Especially knowing how strict the Astro commanders were about betrayal and disobeying orders, and they had essentially signed their own death warrant. All the more reason to rebel against a race that's taking over entire planets and galaxies, counting on just one Titan and a couple soldiers. That's also self-destruction. Too illogical and stupid for such disciplined and calculating warriors. So this theory can also be considered unlikely. And now let's talk about the storyline, which already sounds much more plausible. Titan's cameraman could have been saved by the Alliance. But how, you ask? After all, after the 74th episode, Speakerman Titan was completely out of action, and Titan TV Man physically would not have had time to save Cameraman Titan, because already in the 77th episode, Titan TV Man was captured by Astro Toilets. That leaves only one candidate, G-Man. He can already be considered a full-fledged member of the Alliance, and if he really was able to destroy a group of Astro Toilets and save Titan's cameraman, that's certainly cool. But this theory has some serious gaps. For example, why hasn't G-Man explicitly said he still has Cameraman Titan? Even when TV Man's Titan was still in his mind, he was just stalling and talking about absolute other things. And in his dialogue with the Juggernaut, he didn't say a word about Cameraman's whereabouts either. So while this theory sounds reasonable, it still remains questionable. And the last and most plausible theory says that Titan's cameraman was saved by none other than a secret agent. Think about it. Just 2 episodes after the disappearance of Titan's cameraman, the squad of Astro Toilets that pursued him were not just found dead, but were officially declared missing, which means that the scouts who scanned the area along the squad's route had no trace at all. No bodies, no evidence. What's more, Titan cameraman himself also disappeared without a trace, and such clean disappearances are a secret agent's trademark style. It is not known how he was able to eliminate a whole squad so that not the slightest trace was left, but most likely he was helped by his partners. For example, a secret agent woman who can turn into a car, a ficus, or even a chair that attacks enemies. And who knows how many such agents he has, considering that he and his assistants never act in the open, so we won't know their number for sure. But one important question remains. Where did he put Titan's cameraman? It's likely that the TV men originally saw him through an online broadcast, because in episode 78, we were shown that all the cameramen broadcast directly to the main TV man base. But as we know, when filming a secret agent, the broadcast is always cut off. The recording can only be restored manually, either by pulling out a memory card or using a special device like Detective Cameraman's. So, most likely, the secret agent disabled Titan's cameraman system to hide his location. And next, he'll either hand it over to G-Man or plan to improve it himself by incorporating a few of his own technologies into it. But what exactly he will do, we'll find out only in the next episodes. What if the cameraman Titan isn't really that important to the Alliance? Let me explain why that might be the case. In the full 77th episode, we were shown both agents and Skibidi toilets from different countries. If the events of the apocalypse really do take place on Earth, and according to Camera Woman's notes, the first failed experiment took place in 1985, the planet's population was almost 5 billion at that point. And here's the point. With such a huge population, it's impossible for all humans to unite against the threat at the same time, especially given how quickly the invasion and viral contamination began. So it's entirely possible that each country or region created their own Titan that represents their culture. For example, Asian Titans with katanas and wearing samurai armor, Slavic Titans wearing Adidas sweatpants and carrying a bottle of vodka, and so on. The idea is that the appearance of such unique Titans would add variety, especially considering that we constantly see fights in repetitive locations. But there's another side to this. Perhaps the transfer of consciousness in robots was available, for example, only to residents of the United States, and in other countries, only for individual volunteers. And the rest of the people are just hiding in bunkers and waiting for everything to be over. It sounds logical. Imagine yourself in their place. Would you agree to give up your body and mind forever, and in return become a piece of iron and lose part of your humanity? Probably not. And even if someone wanted to, not all countries have the resources to build Titans. After all, there are both strong and rich nations on Earth, and weak, poor ones without access to the necessary technology. In any case, we can only hope that if such national Titans exist, there will be no conflicts between them, and soon we will see grand battles where only Titans participate. And now I will tell you a very interesting theory. You've already seen this preview. Here we can see the Titans, each representing the culture of their country. I recently came across this comment from a viewer where it said, "In the full 77 episode, we were shown a lot of agents from other countries, and there can't be one Titan for all countries. What if each country has its own Titan?" On the one hand, this theory sounds quite true, because we've seen agents who directly represent the culture of their country only once, in the full 77th episode. And if we take into account the situation at the moment, the Alliance will be helped only by new reinforcements. And after the full 77th episode, we were convinced that there is an analog of agents. For example, in this scene, we saw a similar friendship between Plungerman and Speakerman in Black, only here Cameraman in place of Planger was a samurai sword, and so you can say about the rest of the country. However, if we reason logically, the theory with other Titans is easily refuted. First of all, the locations in the episodes change throughout the series, and for the entire series, there was not a single hint that the agents are somehow different from each other. Let's assume that such Titans do exist, but then the question arises, why didn't they appear earlier? For example, when the invasion of Astro toilets began, or when the battle was in England or in another country. This raises another question. Why did agents appear in new guises? As we know, the agents are former humans who have transferred their minds into robots, which is confirmed by the flashback with the camera woman in part 1 of episode 73. Presumably, after all these years, their minds are getting closer and closer to the human mind, and so some of the agents have started to emulate their old ways. So unfortunately, we probably won't see Titans from other countries, as much as we wouldn't want to, but still anything is possible. Now we know for sure that Titan Cameraman is alive, and most likely all is well with him. I'm looking forward to seeing him in episode 80, as well as new Titans from other countries. Even if it's just one unique character from each culture, that would still be cool. And remember, with each new episode, the story will only expand with new storylines, characters, and unexpected twists and turns. So the most important thing, subscribe to the channel and put a like so that you do not miss the latest information about the series Skibidi Toilet. And with you was, as always, Super Cameraman. Everyone, bye.
Bye too.